Hello, hello, and welcome back to the reading all the book of First Samuel in October because that's 31 chapters for 31 days, so a chapter a day because it's my birthday month. It's my favorite book of the Bible. Reading. Name's Brennan Wheeler. I have straw in my mouth because army thing, heat stroke thing majig happened. But that is the past. We are here now. We are reading in the First Samuel verse chapter 25 here, so if you want to join along, please do. It's King James. Doing the chapter today because today's the 25th day, so it's the 25th chapter. Let's begin. Alrighty. And Samuel died, and all Israelites were gathered together in lamentation and buried him in his house at Ramah. And David arose and went down to the wilderness of Paran. And there was a man in Maon whose possessions were in Carmel. And the man was very great, and he had 3,000 sheep and 1,000 goats, and he was sharing his sheep in Carmel. Now the name of the man was Nabal, and the name of his wife Abigail. And she was a woman of good understanding and of a beautiful countenance. But the man was churlish and evil in his doings, and he was of the house of Caleb. In other words, he's bringing a bad name on Caleb here. And Caleb's a good guy and stuff. And David heard in the wilderness that Nabal did shear sheep, and David sent out 10 young men. And David said to the young men, "Get you up to Carmel and go to Nabal, and greet him in my name. And thus shall you say to him that lives in prosperity, Peace be both to you, and peace be to your house, and peace be all that you have. And now that I've heard that you have shearers, now shepherds that were with us, we hurt them not, neither was there anything missing unto them, all that were in Carmel. As to young men, they will show you. Wherefore let the young men find favor in thine eyes, for we had a good day, or for we come in a good day. Give, I pray thee, whatsoever comes near hand to your servants, and to thy son David." And when David's young men came to the house of Nabal, and spoke according to all these words in the name of David, and ceased. And Nabal answered David's servants and said, "Who is David? And who is the son of Jesse? There be many servants nowadays that break away every man from his master. Shall I take my bread and my water and my flesh that I have killed for my shearers and give it to the men whom I don't know where they be?" So David's young men turned their way and went again and came and told him all these sayings. And David said to his men, "Gird you on every man his sword." And they girded on every man his sword. And David also girded up his sword. And they went up at David about 400 men, and 200 stayed behind to buy the stuff. So David's coming to kill him. But one of the young men told Abigail, Nabal's wife, saying, "Behold, David sent messengers out of the wilderness to salute our master, and he railed on them. But the men were very good unto us, and we were not heard, neither missed we anything, as long as we were conversant with him when we were in the fields. They were walled unto us both by night and day, while we were keeping the sheep. Now therefore no one consider what you will do, for this evil is determined against our master, and against all his household, for he is such a son of Belial that no man can speak to him." In other words, our master is such a hardhead, no one's going to be able to tell him anything. And Abigail made haste and took 200 loaves and 2 bottles of wine, and 5 sheep ready dressed, and 5 measures of parched corn, and 100 clusters of raisins, and 200 cakes of figs, and laid them on the asses. And she said to her servants, "Go on before me, behold, I come after you." But she told not her husband Nabal. And it was so as she rode on the ass that she came down by the cover of the hill, and behold, David and his men came down against her, and she met them. Now David had said, "Surely in vain have I kept all this fellow hath in the wilderness, so that nothing was missed that would pertain unto him, and he required me evil for good. So more and also do God unto the enemies of David, if I leave all that pertain to him the morning light, any that pisseth against the wall." Now this is an old King James kind of term. Basically, men. Any men left alive. He's coming to slaughter all the men. So, and when Abigail saw David, she hastened and landed off her ass, and fell before David on her face, and bowed herself to the ground, and fell at his feet, and said, "Upon me, my lord, let this iniquity be. And let your handmaid, I pray thee, speak into thine audience, and hear the words of your handmaid. Let not my lord, I pray thee, regard this man of Belial, even Nabal, for as his name is, so he is. Nabal is his name, and folly is with him." And Nabal means like folly. "But I, thy handmaid, saw not the young men of my lord, whom thou didst send. Now therefore, my lord, as the Lord liveth, and as thy soul liveth, seeing that the Lord withhold thee from coming to shed blood, and from avenging thyself with their own hand, now let thy enemies, and they that seek evil to my lord, be as Nabal. And now as this blessing which thy handmaid hath brought to my lord, let it be given unto the young men that follow my lord. I pray thee, forgive the trespass of thine handmaid, for the Lord will certainly make my lord a sure house, because my lord fighteth the battles of the Lord, and evil hath not been found on thee all these days. Yet a man risen to pursue thee, to seek thy soul, but thy soul, thy Lord, shall be bound to the bundle of life with the Lord thy God, and the souls of thine enemies, them shall he sling out, as out of a middle of a sling. And it shall come to pass, when the Lord have done good according to my Lord, all the good that he's spoken concerning thee, and shall have appointed thee rule over Israel, that this shall be no grief unto thee, nor offensive heart unto my Lord. Either thou hast shed blood causeless, or that my Lord has avenged himself. But when the Lord shall have dealt well with my Lord, then remember thine handmaid. So Abigail's interceding for everything right now, including her husband. And David said to Abigail, Blessed be the Lord God of Israel, which has sent you this day to meet me. And blessed be your advice, and blessed be you, which has kept me this day from coming to shed blood, and from avenging myself with my own hand. For in very deed, as the Lord God of Israel lives, which has kept me back from hurting you, unless you had hasted and come to meet me, surely there had not left anyone of Nabal of the morning light, any that pisseth against a wall. Again, any male's old King James Version terms of things. So David received of her hand that which she had received him, or brought him, and said to her, Go in peace to your house. See, I have hearkened to your voice, and I have accepted thy person. Then Abigail came to Nabal, and behold, he held a feast in his house, like a feast of a king. Yeah, all that food you couldn't. And Nabal, his heart was merry with him, for he was very drunken, and wherefore she told him nothing, lest or more, until the morning light. But it came to pass in the morning, when the wine was gone out of Nabal, and his wife had told him all these things, that his heart died within him, and he became a stone. And it came to pass about 10 days after that the Lord smote Nabal, that he died. And when David heard that Nabal was dead, he said, Blessed be the Lord God that hath pleaded the cause of my reproach in the hand of Nabal. And the Lord has kept his servant from evil, for the Lord has returned the wickedness of Nabal upon his own head. And David sent and communed with Abigail to take her to him to wife. Which is like, okay. And when the servants of David were come to Abigail in Carmel, they spoke to her, saying, David sent us to thee to take him to be the wife. And she arose and bowed herself on the face of the earth, and said, Behold, let thine handmaid be a servant to wash the feet of the servants of my Lord. And Abigail hasted and arose, and rode upon an ass with 5 damsels of hers, that went after her. And she went after the messengers of David, and became his wife. David also took Ahinoam of Jezreel, and there were also both of him his wives. But Saul had given Michal, his daughter, David's wife, to Phaetiel, the son of Lachish, which is in Galium. So David was already technically married. But some rumblings of things, if you don't know of this going on in this chapter, with David's personality getting a little bit in the way. David decides that, I'm going to go take advantage of my own hand. I'm going to go kill the guy, and Lord sends Abigail to stop him. And he's like, okay, must be the Lord. But not only does he take Abigail, but he also takes another woman as well. And it's just like, David, what are you doing? David? Now, Michal being taken away from him and everything, I guess he didn't know that. Well, no, he knew that. But it's just kind of like, David, what are you doing? Abigail, it makes sense. Like, okay, Abigail, why are you doing this? With Ahinoam, and it's just like, some things of David coming through is just like, oh, this is being a little bit problematic. Well, that'd be when we ever get to 2 Samuel. But, alrighty, well, this is today's, I think it's the longest chapter of 1 Samuel. It's either that or chapter 17 is the longest chapter, but they're one of the longest chapters in 1 Samuel, for sure. Alrighty, well, this is the 25th day. See you tomorrow for the 26th, which is my birthday. I don't know what chapter that is, but 26 is my birthday. Yay. I'll be 33. Alright, see you tomorrow for my birthday. Goodbye.